Now this was entirely unexpected. 4Gamer.net held an interview in Japanese with Hypergriff, the developer behind Arknights and Arknights Endfield. We're gonna go ahead and jump into that in just a moment. Before that though, I urge you to navigate on over to the new Griffline website where they have opened pre-registration for their upcoming technical test, which will be accessible globally. And additionally, the game was confirmed to be releasing onto the PS5. Incredible news, I know. And while I have done dedicated videos on both of those topics, what I want to discuss is the interview in question. I was first made aware of this interview over on Reddit, where a thread was posted. 4Gamer interview Enfield project began around early 2021. The dev team is actively considering adding familiar characters. Hypergriff, known as a developer of Arknights, is an up-and-coming manufacturer established in Shanghai in 2017. It is not wrong to say the company is still a young company, but when it released Arknights, about 2 years after its establishment, it quickly made a name for itself among gamers. Of course, as you know, it was a smash hit in Japan and is still supported by a strong fan base. Japan is actually one of the best performing markets for Arknights, which is also one of the reasons why it has an official Japanese dub. The company is currently producing Arknights Endfield for the PC, PS5, iOS, and Android, which has the same worldview as Arknights. They're also creating PopuCom and X Astris, two completely different games. X Astris looks very much like a game that I would be interested in playing. This time, 4Gamer had the opportunity to conduct an email interview with Hypergriff, who shows his energetic activities. We've received answers not only about the new titles mentioned above, but also about the aims of establishing a new brand, so we'd like to introduce them to you. This is hopefully going to be very insightful. How did Arknights Endfield come about? It was announced in March 2022, but when did the plan for the concept for this work exist? We had a rough idea for the plot of Arknights from a very early stage, around August 2021, so it's 2.5 years ago. The concept of the game gradually became clearer, and we first tried out several concept and gameplay prototypes. I remember at the time they were actually... the action combat system wasn't their first choice. After many discussions, we decided that it would be a cross-platform RPG, and that it would feature a highly strategic battle system and an auto-industrial system. We continued optimizing the prototype with the aim of improving gameplay, but at the same time, we also worked on creating a Worldview PV. After the PV was released, we're moving into the official development of the game while incorporating the opinions we receive from everyone. So they're taking the feedback that players have had and implementing it in game. They decided they were going to release it cross-platform onto PC and mobile because Arknights is a mobile exclusive title, does not have a PC release at all. Before we go any deeper into this article though, I want to take a moment to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. It will allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely incredible and I cannot thank you all enough. Now back to the video. Could you introduce the story of the work? The player will take on the role of a manager leading a construction company called Enfield, which uses science and technology to explore the planet Taro 2. While fighting Angelos and erosion in Taro 2, we'll establish a base to create a new homeland for humanity. However, we plan to make further adjustments, optimizations to the story and settings. I'm assuming by Taro 2, he means Talos 2. Are the stories of Enfield and Arknights related? I think this right here is probably the most important question, because in the Arknights Enfield's videos I've done, people have asked me, do I need to play Arknights to understand what's going on in Arknights Endfield? Can I play Arknights Endfield with no history or knowledge of the Arknights game or the Arknights world or the Arknights characters? As players would expect, there is some degree of connection. However, each title has a different theme and story direction, so I hope you'll enjoy the appeal of both titles. So they're connected, but not in any major way, at least in the early stages. Is there a possibility that characters from Arknights will appear in Enfield? I think we saw like Calstit, right? In fact, we've received a lot of feedback for everyone asking for the appearance of familiar characters. We're thinking of an appropriate way to deal with this matter and are actively considering it. That's great. I love the characters in Arknights. But at the same time, like, I think this is set in a different timeline, right? So like many of the characters will be dead. Please tell us what you're most particular about when it comes to worldview art and UI design. Yes, please, please. UI design is one of the most important aspects of creating a cross-platform game. Based on the concept of inherited UI design for Arknights, we'd like to create a UI design that is even easier to understand, yet has a fresh and attractive appeal. The graphics of the worldview are different from other works and have a realistic style. I aim to create something that expresses the beauty of a dangerous world and allows for you to... I'm recording this at 1 a.m. Guys, English, difficult. It allows you to feel reality and fantasy at the same time. It's billed as a 3D real-time strategy RPG. I've seen a lot of the gameplay. It doesn't feel very strategic to me. It feels very action-oriented, which is good. What are the features that make it different from games in the same genre? So he's asking, is this a Genshin clone? The core of the game is real-time battles in which you select characters and form a team. Players control one character on their team, but they can switch between characters and defeat the enemy by combining effective skills, depending on the opponent. We've lowered the difficulty of the controls and focused on battle strategy and fun. I'd like you to experience the fun of being able to operate it in real time. So that was very vague. Yeah. Very vague. Please tell us about the gameplay cycle and content flow. The flow of gameplay is to explore the map, progress through the main story, the narrative in Arknights is a very integral part of the game, and strengthen your character in order to explore more difficult areas. In addition to increasing your character's combat power, you can create a variety of environments to defeat your enemies, such as manufacturing the necessary equipment using the auto-industrial system and acquiring resources for training. So it looks like the auto-industrial system is going to play a major part in the game. What can players do or automate during combat? The other NPCs, I guess, the other characters in your party. During battle, players can not only control their characters in real time and activate skills, but also switch to other characters and use skills. So kind of like your normal action game. So where Genshin and Wuthering Waves has you, and even Tower of Fantasy, has you control one singular character, but there are multiple characters that you can move between, but you're only ever controlling one singular one. There's only ever one singular character on the field. In Arknights Endfield, there are several, and you kind of like cycle between each character, but they all continue to exist, if I recall, at the same time within the same world, as you can see in this image right here. When using a skill, the battle temporarily stops, allowing the player to precisely determine the timing and target of skill activation. Therefore, the strategic nature of skill use is very high. Various effects can be generated depending on the combination of the character's physical skills and attribute skills, as well as the physical state and attribute energy generated during battle. This means that by using effects that deal higher damage, you can increase the efficiency of battle. There is currently no auto battle feature. This is important. There is no auto battle. There have been numerous open world anime RPGs like Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds, like The Legend of Neverland, that have been beautiful games to look at, but have been largely autoplay. This is not going to be the case. If there's going to be no auto battle whatsoever, then in the future there may be play methods or factory systems that will make combat easier. I've never heard a person say, this action game needs to be easier. Well, no real gamer anyway. Please explain the crafting elements. Also, tell me the intention of the implementation. In-game players will be able to supply electricity by manufacturing specialized machines. In addition, you can use machines to automatically collect materials and minerals and use the auto-industrial system to manufacture necessary items. So kind of like what currently exists in Arknights. Additionally, as a power network is developed, it'll be possible to create ropeways that will allow people to move between areas more easily. These elements are enjoyable in and of themselves, and the auto-industrial system allows you to obtain large quantities of supplies for free. Furthermore, the machines in the auto-industrial system can be placed anywhere on the map, but by modifying them while considering where and what kind of machine will be installed, you can increase a sense of immersion in the game world. It'll give you a sense of accomplishment. So it's like, you know, this would look cool here, so then you put it there because it looks cooler there. And everyone's world will therefore look a little bit different. Most of the manufactured supplies can be used not only for in-game construction, but also for character enhancement. Therefore, it's possible to develop a wide range of characters. How about character growth and customization elements? Characters can develop levels and skills. Furthermore, the range of strategies expands depending on the combination of equipment and weapons. So there is going to be equipment in this game. There is going to be weapons in the game. These were not present in Arknights, so this is good to know. It is necessary to maximize the effect by creating a fighting style that suits a player's preferences, emphasizing the character's characteristics and combining them. For example, if you want to keep a close eye on the enemy's status while fighting, you can shorten the cooldown time of your skills. Or if you just want to deal damage, you can combine equipment and increases attack power. Equipment can be obtained through exploration in the auto-industrial system. There are different effects depending on the combination of equipment, and so it's like it's going to be like Genshin Impact then. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the same as Genshin's artifact system. This is translated from Japanese into English, so there might be a translation issue here. I'm hoping that's the case because It states that there are different effects depending on the combination of equipment, which means you're probably going to have a meta set of equipment that you're going to need to waste time farming. And I absolutely hate that in gacha games. I really do. It's up to the player to decide which equipment to give which character, so there are endless possibilities for strategy. Now, there's actually going to be one singular meta build that everyone is going to want to follow and everyone is going to hate grinding for. Please tell us about the background and intentions behind establishing the global publisher brand Griffline. This is the studio that's going to publish Arknights Endfield globally. They aim to provide high-quality game content to users around the world. The game market, which is currently experiencing great excitement, gives us new vitality and gives us a sense of great potential. In the future, we'll continue to provide games that users around the world can enjoy, optimize, like the operating... So, okay, overseas games. That's what's important. They're going to be publishing games, plural, to the overseas market. And that pretty much covers everything. That was pretty eye-opening. There's a lot of very important information to be taken from this article. I genuinely, I really do hope that they do not implement Genshin's artifact system. For the love of God, please don't. But everything else seems relatively cool. I like the fact that you're going to be able to implement your own auto-industrial system around the world, so everyone's world will look a little bit different. I hope there is a type of multiplayer present, so you can see other people's worlds and kind of see what they've done with everything. We still don't really know all that much about the game right now. Again, it is open for pre-registration right now. They are holding a test phase in the very near future. It is coming out on the PS5. I will update you guys with more info as more info is made readily available. But if Arknights Endfield is not a game that you're at all interested in, absolutely no problem. I got you covered 2 different videos on screen right now that might be more up your alley.